Okay, so we have a pretty solid thing over here with our magazine. Now we still need to create a cut down here because we have like the here like the little bolt. But I first want to just go ahead and focus on the triggering. So we will only be making this part over here, and we will be making this part over here. And just because those are part of the main body, this extra clip and the actual trigger, those I will do later on in like a time lapse. So that should be pretty easy. After that, we will go ahead and do this ring. We will work on the magazine to create like this little extension over here. This stuff I'll leave until later, most likely. Because, yeah, we can do that as like a separate model. So that should be fine. So, okay, we have a plan. Let's go ahead and let's go to our side view. Now, the nice thing is we still have this line over here. So the first thing that we need to do is we just need to create just like some bending going down here. Now, quick cool trick that you can do. So, for example, right now we have that our geometry is not very clean. Like, it's a little bit broken and everything. And sure, I can go and fix that, but I can just as well wait with that. Because what I can do to create a edge here and an edge here is to use my slice tool. So I will show you that in two ways. The first way is to go and click slice. And then if you click once and do not move your mouse. Come on. Here. So sometimes it goes in like the wrong direction. So just trying to find. Now if it goes in the wrong direction, yes, you can move it like this over here. And just make sure that there isn't any anti-aliasing. Then you know that it is straight. But another cool thing that you can do is if you do not have any modifiers sitting on top of this, you can also go into your modifier list and you can go to slice, which pretty much does the same thing, but this time you can actually just, if you turn on snap rotation, you can have way more precise slices because you can actually just move them. So you can go ahead and you can just move these down here like this. And I just want to show you that. So then you can just convert this to an edit poly. And now this part over here, because it is completely closed off, has a correct swift loop. See? So I can place a swift loop here, swift loop here. I can now go ahead and make sure ignore backfacing is not turned on. I can move this down. See, let's move this one over here, this one probably around over here. And now we can just go ahead and we can like create another swift loop, which we'll place probably around here. And another one over here. And then you can choose yourself if you want to go for the a route where you add like a quick chamfer with like 2 segments to make it nice and round. Or if you do it more, what I think is a bit more precise, is to actually go ahead and just place a line from here to here. And another line from here to here. There you go. And now I can simply go in here and I can just add as many segments as needed to follow this line as much as I want. So I can like add a swift loop over here. Another one over here and just go ahead and like, yeah, that should be enough because this is quite a small little bit. So by the time that we have a norm map baking, you will not be able to see the actual edges. Or you won't be able to see them as jagged or anything like that. But there you go. So that's just a quick way to get that extra bit. And I just want to show you a few different techniques for that. Now the next thing is that this piece over here, we can pretty much do this separately. It is, over here you can see that it is merged together like this. We might do that. It won't be that much effort to actually do that. The only thing is that we need to have a think. Because the way that it works, if something is going to be cut up by our UV, so if there's going to be a seam here by our UV, which will most likely be the case because it's going down quite a bit, then doing the merging together, actually it doesn't really matter that much. Because then when you merge that together, you will still have a seam here. So you will still be able to see like a tiny bit of like a harsh cut, because that's just how seams work. So instead, what we could do is we could just simply move this inside of the shape and just live with that harsh cut. And that will save us a little bit of time because it will save us merging these pieces together. And that's basically something you need to keep in mind for everything. Like this kind of stuff, we are going to make this all in one UV. So this needs to be merged together. this kind of stuff we most likely need to make a cut around anyway, so we can just have that on top and then work and make sure that the high poly is very nice. Same for this one, there will probably be like a cut going around here, so we can just place this on top rather than trying to just merge it all together and make the geometry very complicated. So this is actually something very important. If it doesn't seem very important, I'm trying to let you know it is very, very important. So it's something that you constantly need to think about. Now we get to this point over here. For this one, I'm probably just going to go ahead and I'm going to just looking at my reference. My reference is flipped, but that's okay. It looks like that I want to just continue from here, and I'm just using a line. And let's see, I'm gonna go up until, ow, I bumped my nose against my microphone. I'm gonna go up until this point, and then go down here. Create a nice little bend. Go up, straight, up until this point. Create a nice little bend here. And close it off. Yes, I want to close my spline. Okay, let's have a look. I know that there are some problems over there at the top, but we'll fix those. First of all, I'm going to fix this one. So make sure that this is just a nice, smooth curve. As you can see, so I like to have this one quite smooth. Right click, Bezier, corner. Yeah, let's scale this out a little bit more, so nice and smooth. This one over here, we might want to just rotate this a bit. I need to be careful, but sometimes if you have a nick like this, don't worry about it too much, because we can just later on place a bevel there to kind of like compensate for it. So it all depends how important it is. So for this one, like, oh, turn off my snap rotation. So this one can be straight, and then I just want to see, like, okay, how do I want to have this curve? So I'm probably going to go for something like that. At this point, with this reference image, when we go lower, you can see that there's like a little bit of angling going on in the actual image, which means that we need to be a little bit more careful about that. Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go to isolate, because over here we have this one. I just want to right click, Bezier corner, and just rotate this so that it is straight. There we go. And that should do the trick for that one. The other one, I don't think we can actually... Can we literally copy that? No, we can, because that one looks it looks a little bit bigger. So we'll need to go ahead and do that separately. So for that one, let's see. So we place this piece over here. If we just go ahead and move this a tiny bit to the left, so that I can now go in. And let's just do an Alt-X, and let's just continue my line over here. I'm gonna continue it like this, and it looks almost... It's not completely straight, but it looks like it just has like this... just looks like that it has like this flat bit over here. And let's see, so then it... I think I'm gonna go up until this point, and I'll fix it later on. It goes up until here, and then it just goes straight like this. And by that point it is merged inside of our pieces, so that's something that we will work on too. So okay, let's have a focus on this. So this one up here, let's rotate it a little bit more. Let's make it a little bit smoother. This one over here. This is too harsh of a cut, so I'm just going to right click and turn this back into a Bezier, and then turn this into a Bezier corner, so that we have like a little bit more control. And I can like, let's see, let's move this entire thing up a little bit. Let's have a look at it from a distance. So smooth, goes down here. Do we need to rotate this out a little bit? Maybe. And then this one, we would just want to, right click, turn this into Bezier corner, so that we can have one of the sides straight. And when we get to this point, if you just do an Alt-X on here, because of course this one is now merging into this, and we don't want it, so push it back until it is just touching the side, so that it's just transitioning, and then over here it will also transition up here. So there we go, so that should do the trick for those pieces. those pieces need to be exactly the same size. So what I can do is I can just select both of them and I can throw on an extrude. And because we close them, the extrude will just work right away. Now, seeing this, yeah, be careful about this because this is kind of like a deceiving look because of the extension that we have over here. So I would just look at this one and just try and gaze based upon that. So if I have this, I'm going to go ahead and let's extrude this out, and let's see if I just move this. I will need to eyeball this a little bit. So I'm a bit disoriented. I don't know where I'm looking at. Okay, let's start with just moving this in the center. Here, see, so it feels like a bigger gap here. But what I'm focusing on is that this one is not too big of a gap. 8 centimeters, 7.5. It's too much. 7.8. Now, you know what? I think 8 centimeter was correct. Now I look at it. So let's move this back. There we go. Okay. So we got those pieces. And so what we are going to do is we are not going to actually attach them to the main body. We will just kind of like leave them like this. Now, we might get some problems with like here the top part, but we will need to see. So we might want to go actually in a high poly. We might actually want to merge this all together so that it becomes one piece. But then in our low poly, we will just leave it like this so that the transition still looks correct. So we got these pieces. It looks like that they pretty much look like just big bevels. And they do have like cuts in between here. Can I show you that? Here, see? So they do have like a cut in between here and in between here. Now this cut actually looks very basic. All it really looks like is a cube pretty much. So like a box. Let's create a box. Let's do Alt-X. And it looks like that this box is going pretty much up until this point. So if we would grab this box and just like scale it down, just trying to get like an even size on both of them. If you want to be very precise, you can quickly grab one of these, throw in an edit poly, select one edge and ring it. So it's funny because I say this is a very quick method, but because I need to tell you well, I don't really need to tell you every button, but force habit again. So just add like a double connect line and move it out. And that way you can decide like, okay, where do I want the cut to start? Over here. And now you can simply just move your cube and scale it so that it is exactly on those points. And then you know that it is correct. And now I want to move this up because I want to have it exactly on this line. There we go. And now we can do the same over here. We can just add a poly. Ring it. I was going to do a boolean, but then I figured that we can just as well place these connects and then just delete the faces. That might save us losing our line over here so that we can just keep our line still in. Or not. No, actually that might not be as handy because of the back. So we can just as well boolean it. At this point we have gotten our line done. So that's pretty good. I'm happy with the segments. So these ones over here are a bit much. So what you pretty much want to do is just convert this to an edit poly. If you have very dense segments like this, just select them. And just do a Ctrl backspace just to make them a little bit less. But then on these pieces, I want to keep them quite dense like you can see over here. So I'm quite happy about that. This side over here, if you feel like you want to improve it a little bit just by moving it a tiny bit, you can do that. Those segments are fine. These segments, they might be a little bit dense, but honestly, this is going to be so close to the camera because I'm planning on literally having like a shot like this and a shot like this. So we can just well keep it this high. I do want to show you a cool trick, in case you didn't know. If you just double click here and just press this little button, which is the dotted ring, it will select you based upon a ring, and then you can like press Ctrl backspace if you would do it properly. And then here you can like very quickly like remove some segments if you want. I don't know, might be easier for us to do that. Just make sure that you do not have any corners. Oh, this one over here, just select all of them because that one goes inside. There we go, see? Just make sure that you don't have any strange corners selected. And now at this point I'm just going to go ahead, convert both of these to an edit poly, attach them together. like this. And then simply go down here into compound objects, Pro Boolean, turn on the remove only visible, and pick your cube. There you go. And now it's just a matter of going back to an edit poly again, and just very quickly in these little pieces, just collapse them so that they are clean, and that we do not have like double vertices or something like that. There you go. That does a quick cut over here. Of course, we need to merge this all together, but that's something that we can focus on later on, once at the end. I first of all want to just see if there's anything else that we need to do. Now, as I said before, the actual piece that is sitting inside of here, I will go ahead and... Oh, this sometimes if a collapse doesn't work, it's because it's technically not connected. But yeah, that piece that we have inside, to complete the ring, I will do that in a time-lapse later on. So here I'm just using a cut to merge this together. There we go. So for now, I'm more focused on like the general shape. So we got this stuff. There will be a thing over here, so you won't really be able to see this clipping over here anyway, so I don't worry about that. What do I need to do? I need to bevel it on the side. I hope that, I should have enough space for that. So for the beveling, it looks like that we want to bevel it, but we do not want to bevel the back sides over here. We want to select both. Yeah, we want to select both of these. Hold shift and merge and convert these to edges. And then we pretty much want to stop at those points. Let me just go into isolation mode. Yes, okay. And we'll clean up the rest. So we got these pieces. Let's go ahead and just do a quick chamfer. We don't need to bevel it as much because we are going to go in our high poly and make it look very nice and smooth. So for these pieces, we can probably just accommodate with like a single bevel. If you want to push it, you can do a double, but that also makes it harder to control the geometry. So I'm just going to go for like a single bevel, like this pretty much. Yeah, it looks fine. Now just to make sure that it is a little bit more cleaner. If you have ever like these cuts over here, that's because it doesn't have supporting geometry. So you just kind of like cut around like this. And that will instantly just split these faces up into two pieces. And then you can take it from there. Once again, I will go ahead and I will do this off camera because this is just me merging together. So I'm just for now placing this single one over here to make sure that it fits. But let's have a look. So we got those pieces done over there. That's looking pretty good. All these thin lines and all that stuff we will do, and even these screw holes, we will go ahead and do those inside of Substance Painter. This piece we will do time-lapse. This piece we will do as a time-lapse. Oh, wrong button. So, yeah, that piece that will belong to there, so I'm not worried about that. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, so I think what we want to do now, or at least in the next chapters, we want to work on just finishing our magazine. And after that, I will do a quick extra look. Because the plan is right now for me to finish both the body and to finish this thing. And then what I will do is I will go ahead and do like a quick little time-lapse round where I will just time-lapse like a few other pieces. Maybe I will also just do the grip in real time and a part of like the back side. Although the back, probably not. So there's just a few things that I will do in time-lapse just because it's literally the exact same things that we are covering in here. It's just that the body is too important for me to risk just doing it in time-lapse, even when we already covered the techniques. So in next chapter we are just going to finish off our body. As far as we want to finish it off for now. And then we will probably move to the upper part of the body. So let's continue with that.